Yair Rodriguez. Am I saying Yair correctly?
Sounds
Yair?
right. Yair.
Yeah, I think I'm doing a good job. I had done a YouTube video on him yesterday, and people were correcting me on my enunciation of Yair, but I think I'm right.
Yair. What were they telling you to say?
Well,
Does it even
they
matter?
kept typing in your ear, but I didn't know if I was supposed to pronounce it your ear, or if they thought I was saying your ear and I'm supposed to say Yair. I don't know, man. I feel like a tomato at that point.
All right.
As a guy that has a confusing name,
it's
honor,
another.
Yeah, it's honor amongst thieves at this point. At any rate, I had done this YouTube video, and I always read the comments on there, and I had explained what happened with Yair. So to explain it for you here, there was a really negative narrative about Dana White releasing Yair because of his refusal to accept fights. People thought that was inappropriate. Those people need to rethink that. Not only can Dana do that, he has to. He absolutely must. You only have X amount of spots on a roster, and if a guy takes up 2% of the PR team's time, 2% of the marketing team's time, 2% of the legal team's time, you have 556 guys under contract. So maybe a guy takes up a quarter of their time, and then maybe you get a big guy that takes up 8 or 9% of their time. What I'm saying is if a guy is not going to compete, you cannot have your resources going into him. That's relevant. For Dana White to be judged because he released somebody who was unwilling to go to work, and for Dana to be judged negatively for that, is mind-boggling to me. Because nobody else can do that. Nobody. Zero people. Zero. Cannot do their job and tell their boss, I'm refusing to do it, and stay employed. The other side of it is, I always hear the narrative from the same people. And this is not about Yair. I would like to make that clear. I've never met him. He seems like a very nice guy. He's a tremendous talent. And I take zero pleasure that a hardworking guy that's sacrificing and making it the tough way in life, which is through cage fighting, is now without a job. I take zero pleasure in that. I'm just using him because he's the relevant name that this just happened to. I'm more speaking to the situation, though. So when people want to judge Dana and say that was wrong, first off, no, it's not. He has to do that. He has to take control of that company. He has to take control of that locker room. And if you are a ranked guy offered a fight against another ranked guy and you weigh the same thing, you must go out and compete. And there's something about that sounds very cold to people. And it's not a matter of you're being drafted and we're forcing you to do it. We're just saying if you're going to be part of this organization, this is what we do within this organization. You're welcome without punishment to be free of this organization, which is just simply a contract. You're no longer bound to the contract, but we're no longer bound to you. Sounds like we're no longer married at this point. You don't want to do it our way. We don't want to do it your way. Hey, here's another idea. Let's just separate. That's very appropriate. And the same people that I see judging Dana are the ones that love to say this sport should be treated like any other. Unionize comes to mind. Treat it like other professional sports. I'm scratching my head going, wait a minute, my God. Roger Goodell, by example, at the NFL, would never be confronted with this situation, ever. I don't know how long Goodell's been at the reins, but I promise you this has never happened. I don't know how long Goodell's going to stay at the reins. I can promise you it's never going to happen, where the Patriots are supposed to pay the bills and offer some kind of excuse why they're not going to do it. Well, we just lost, and our confidence is a little bit down, and our quarterback's got a bad shoulder, and let's not do it, or maybe we can do it, but let's reschedule it. This Sunday doesn't work for us. Like, that would never happen in a professional sport. Never. So Dana's put in a situation that no other leader of professional sport would ever find himself in, and he has to make a decision. So I want to share this with you before you think there was any coldness done here. Because a lot of people don't understand. And this is a policy that was put in place by Joe Silva a long, long time ago. To call it a decade would be a fair guess, but a meaningful amount of time ago. And he goes, look, I have the right to force you to fight or to release you. Those are my options. But I don't want to do that. Let's meet in the middle a little bit. So here's what we'll do. But this is the policy, and here's what we're all going to operate under. I will offer you a fight, and you can turn down the first fight. The second fight I offer you is who you're fighting, or you're eligible for release. Now, they don't exercise that option very often, but it does exist, and it is above board, and it is explained to everybody ahead of time. Now, this can create a tremendous logistical problem, okay? Let's say you are offered a fight, and it's me first. Just use you and I as examples. And you go, I don't want to fight Chael. Fine. Now you're going to fight John Doe. That's your fight. You're done. But let's say John Doe hasn't turned down a fight yet, and he now gets called to fight you. John Doe can use his one out against you, and now you see the problem? So for a matchmaker to actually get a card put together, and this is just to get the yeses before you go back and forth on all of the details, before you get all the paperwork out and then wait for these deadbeat fighters to sign it and date it and send it back. Then once you do that, you got to turn it over to the commission, who's going to look at it primarily at records, and then they ultimately have to sign off on it. So there's a lot of steps involved in getting a fight that people don't even know exists. And at some point, the card has to be done so that you can begin advertising it, and so that you can put tickets on sale, and so that people that do buy those tickets and plan a night out to come to your event have a reasonable expectation that you're going to do everything reasonably expected to provide them with the card that you've advertised. And that's where it ends, right? So you can see where a policy of some sort must be put in place. So this is the one that was put in place a long time ago. You get one turned down, and then you don't. This is what happened. I cannot think of a time that it's actually been exercised. You provide yourself with the option as a company within the policy, but then you do get to choose as a company. Do we then exercise the option of releasing the guy? Probably not. In most cases, not. When I put this out on the YouTube channel, so many people had pushed back on me and said, well, what about Nate Diaz specifically? Nate Diaz specifically. He's turned down a ton of fights. He didn't get released. And it's like, guys, I'm not sure you understand what I'm saying here. I'm saying this is a policy set forth by the organization. So as an organization, you don't then use a policy against yourself. You don't then use this policy and go, well, Nate turned down 2 fights, and we've got this policy, so I guess we got to release one of our top guys. You don't have to do that at all. You don't have to do it for one of your bottom guys. You don't ever have to look at it. You just disclose it to the athlete so everybody knows, and it's above board when and if it happens. So people had said, well, how come the policy wasn't invoked fairly across the board? I just want to bang my head in the wall. And there's something about the business of mixed martial arts being a sport that always invokes emotions amongst fans and viewers that tie into their experience in sports from the time they were little kids, where everybody gets to participate and everybody gets a participation award. And everybody's welcome to come, and the coach just deals with his squad, whoever it is. As you move up, and as soon as high school, quite frankly, kids get cut.
Yeah.
When you get into college, it's not a matter of getting a cut. It's invite only. It's scholarship. It's handpicked. Here's who our teams is. And then
walk on if lucky.
Yeah, that's right. Walk on if lucky, and walk your ass right back out if you don't fall in line. And then when you get into professional sports, I mean, it's the highest level of scrutiny, and it is handpicked and, again, invitation only. There's something about mixed martial arts and the fact that it's a program and it's entertainment and it's on television that still invokes the emotion in fans of fair play for all. I haven't the foggiest idea why anybody would think this business would run any different than the businesses that they work for, which is not fair play by all. Nothing is fair play by all. A household is not fair play by all. You may not let one son do something that you would let another son do. You may not let a daughter do what you let the son do. I don't know where this word fair, and people had responses, well, what about Nate? What about Nate? Do I really need to answer that question? Do I really need to explain to you the difference in value? Do I really need to explain to you the fact that Nate came out forthcomingly and said, I'm not fighting except, and then he laid out his terms. Now, the UFC's got a choice to go, well, yeah, we'll give it some time, see if you change your terms a little bit. See if they've got a number of reasons to keep him under contract and see if they could meet in the middle somewhere. that they may not have, in this case for Yair or for any other athlete. And they do not need to use their own policies against themselves. No company designs a policy to then turn on itself and cannibalize and wound itself. So the fact that people were actually asking me why, if Yair turned 2 down, is he released, and why when Nate's turned down multiple fights is he not, I couldn't believe I needed to respond because they chose not to. That's it. But as far as the narrative goes that Dana had done something cold or wrong by forcing a guy, no, he didn't force him at all. Dana has no leverage over him whatsoever. The only leverage he has is what's in that stack of papers known as a contract, and now he's even willing to terminate that, which he does not need to do. You're telling me you don't want to fight, but we're telling fans we have a fighter named Yair. We're making a misrepresentation to our fans. That's not right. So if we can't produce on our side of it, we're not going to meet at the table, and it's costing me time and effort and energy, that's not going to happen anymore. I'm going to go put that time, effort, and energy into other things that I feel reasonably I can produce on. That's above board, that's appropriate, and that's unique to this business. The NFL would literally never run into this. Every game is going to be played against every team that's on the schedule set forth ahead of time, no matter what. And it's a unique spot. And I was very confused that people were confused.